One-eyed alien pulling her hair out. Right.
Well, Sandra Daroy, it's really good to see you here at Bases HQ.
Bases.
And we're having a cup of coffee in the Bases mugs.
And the, I did something funny there.
And we have
right.
SN10 here,
Mm-hmm.
which is the unique postal code to this address. But we have something else more important here. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Sandra is here, but she's just a nothing because this is the star of the show.
All right, yes.
So could you describe it? You probably won't see that on the screen, but...
Yes, we're going to, hopefully you can see that. You need to check Miles's feed. He will post it there. On his Facebook, maybe.
Anyway, there it is. We're at SN10, which is Devices, Bases 2023 seminar in the studio. And...
we made one on the 13th of February.
Right.
Exactly. I know the date. And that was End of All Human Free Will, 2025. And 2030 Agenda 2030. And we made a 2022 Basis lecture last year, which is, you know...
That's a big one. That's about 3 hours.
That's 2 hours, yeah. They're each at least 1 hour, 45 minutes. And each time, what I need to highlight is you need to check the next lecture because every time I forget something, it's like amen in a church. Every time I forget an important nuance, and I actually, I'm not happy about that I keep forgetting some nuances.
Well, a very busy girl.
And it really pisses me off, so...
so before we forget anything more, you had specific things you wanted to say in this little thing we're doing. Do you know what they are?
So, the reason why I thought it would be a good idea to do this new lecture, which is 1 hour, 45 minutes, if not 2 hours, is to give an update what happened during the significant period, March 2023. And before we even start, who am I? I am I'm a pagan, and I'm a practicing pagan aggressively. So I came to Wiltshire area to conduct some work for, you know, towards eliminating the enemy. And this March that I explain in this new lecture, what was going down, what was happening, and who are we fighting was significant because it kind of contradicts now the energies that were going on the up till the 13th of February during our last lecture, where it was to some old doom and gloom, they called it. A lot of people criticized that lecture. Oh, is it really old doom and gloom? Here we go again with Miss Sepsis.
Well, Sandra, you know, some people might say, you know, the end of all human free will is a bit sort of, you know, it has its, I think the doom and gloom sort of in the title.
Yes. End of all human free will coming up, people, 2025. We have beautiful 50-minute cities being tested in Oxfordshire. But something happened.
I think they're in Leeds.
Okay. Well, I saw the images where officers were near these little gates at Oxfordshire. That's in the news.
Yeah.
And they're testing it, and there is already one region there, and people are all up for it. They're all participating that live there. No problem. They're just participating. And then one person went there with a mobile phone and said, what's going on here? And these were, we work here. You know, we're council, 50-minute city. And I thought that was just in discussion in Parliament, but it's actually happening. So I don't know what I'm still doing here, but the idea is that this March now, so you want to definitely listen to this this lecture, this new lecture. And I am the lady, just my background. I'm Sandra Daroy, aka Miss Sepsis. So educate yourself what it means to be Miss Sepsis.
And what does it mean to be Miss Sepsis?
Everyone's like, how can you be such a
Could you
horrible...
use the slide, please? Bring it back.
Very good.
It's
absolutely.
It's a good table.
Because it is heat. Absolutely. Good. I learned something. I would have put it straight on. I talk about the soulless human beings living amongst us. I talk about the fiasco ordeal going on in the end of 1970s, mid-1970s, facilitated by Dr. Fauci. And I cannot say that what that is, but if you go to my minds.com video, you will see me explain this and break it down at a Sean Atwood interview. And then I talk about, well, this is what it means to be Miss Sepsis, the years 2020 and 2021, what was going on. And this entire operation was facilitated by sleepers, human servants, and the soulless humans. Now, the thing is, I left out a few things. I'm going to get to them in a minute. Just give me 30 seconds. And the idea is that there is some good news, because years 2020, 2021, the percentage of the soulless human beings that look like you and me, but internally they are made up of something entirely different. And I'm not referring to cyborgs, and I'm not referring to AI, because these people have been around since Mesopotamia time, and you could see them during the Roman torture times, how they fiend off this blood. And I explain in this lecture how to recognize these soulless human beings. So it's an esoteric problem rather than just only, it is by now an AI problem as well, because the portals started from Switzerland, Austria, Germany, and they went on to then Shanghai, Wuhan, Nigeria, Argentina, and these things that take over the human body are shadow-like beings, and they kick the original soul out permanently. They target children 1 to 10, so there's a big problem with the psycho kids globally, and you can't lock them up because they're psycho kids, you know. They have no problem skinning alive something and laughing their asses off. So my background, I didn't learn this stuff from my education, which is a bachelor's, very serious bachelor's in psychology, 360 credits in London, and 3 years full-time, and I have a master's degree in WHO, World Health Organization, policies and legislation in teamwork, Agenda 2021 I was trained for, and I was trained for 2030, and my job title should be in leadership or directorship, sort of speak, if I'm saying that correctly. So that was a very niche, specific master's degree I did, 2 years full-time in Eskilstuna, Västerås. And I lived in Sweden, and I started noticing these human beings while I was doing this degree. I was told about these soulless human beings by a shaman pagan. He was a pagan in Estonia, and I was only 17 years old. I'm very upset that I have taken only action against these soulless human beings since 2018, working with all kinds of devices, orgone bubble, metals, copper, and pagan ritual methods. The methods I've made them up myself. It's my own little recipe, so I won't be falling under some recipe designed by someone else. So everything is my own little cake that I've made, and it works. I've seen results. I met the man from down under. I speak about him in my book. I've met him several times. He pulled me out of very bad situations. He stopped time. I call him the Big Capone, and he's being targeted. And he is about, he came about like Karpusami, Kalki. He came about when the walk-ins really try to take a physical form here around 4th Ice Age, when the first human beings came from Alphecca Sea constellation to Antarctica. So they captured one of these original human souls and tried to do their thing, but it didn't work. So Big Capone is from those times. The man from down under, he's at least 10 million years old.
When you say the man from down under, most people would suggest it's Australia, but are you saying it's from the inner Earth or something like that?
So Karpusami, the black man, Nubian black man, Indian man on a white horse with a sword, is the village savior, and he's about, I think, let's say less than Christ's calendar. 1,000 years. 1,000 years. But the man from down under, we're talking about obviously the guy that everyone's targeting, Satan. I don't follow his orders, but he is he is like Karpusami, Kalki, the blue god on a white horse that Hinduism culture worships everywhere. Exactly the same concept. These are consciousnesses that were brought in to help and protect Mother Earth. Mother Earth needs protection, so these consciousnesses signed up for this job. There's the star of the show. So, sorry about the graphic review.
Well, it started to pour with rain, that's why the cats come in.
Yeah.
So do continue.
So, this consciousness came to, it's a masculine side, so he represents the upside down pentagram, but Mother Earth is the upright pentagram. So the feminine is the upright pentagram, which is paganism. Pagans were all slaughtered because they noticed that there's an enemy that has taken over this planet. And I'm very sad. I had a very nice presentation on YouTube, and my YouTube channels, 2 of them were taken down. And I explain this in great detail, but as well in your lectures. So the idea is that it's consciousness, it's energy, and there's no point to now start demonizing. It has nothing to do with the neo-Satanists and all these Church of Satan. That is a completely different. They have no clue what they're doing. They are literally worshiping, and that's not what you do. You don't worship. You are this source. The original human beings are from this one source, but the rest are sleepers. They're very recycled souls, and it's time for them to go. So you have to make a choice. The new energies came in. Now everyone's going to get very ill. A lot of people are going to be dropping, dead.
And you're not talking about certain recent ailments.
I think that these energies that happen in March. So you're going to see people deteriorate, from physical illnesses, even who didn't obey Dr. Fauci's healthcare plan during 2020 and 2021. So the ones who are kind of awake and aware, you're going to see a lot of deterioration, rapid, if you don't pull yourself together and try to face the truth. But the good news, I think, is that the soulless humans have decreased. So this is what I was explaining in the new update. Thank you very much. And when it was 30% of soulless human beings on planet Earth, I think that because of this Dr. Fauci movement, they had to a little bit regulate it because it was getting out of control. Their minions, because they were the ones who brought them in, but there is some sort of, they obviously want to get rid of the real human soul. That was their purpose. They're very happy with the soulless humans. And the soulless humans I describe, you need to check this talk. And they have decreased. I think that they're 20%, but it's heaving. It's heaving with them in some.
What is this talk? You've done 2 of the 2 Basis 2023 seminars. here.
Yes, so I did this 2-hour lecture talking about what happened this March during 2026 of March and 31st of March. And something happened, so it's a recorded data. The energies came in, etc. So something, I hope that a block against evil has been put in place, but we have a long way to go, people, because the month of May is coming up. The Mintaura sacrifice, the Taurus number 14, holy 14, 7 boys, 7 girls, 14 adds up to 5, the 5 elements, the pentagram that I talk about in great detail in Walking Case. I show charts and I calculate it. And the point is that there is a block that has been put in place this March, and I think that a specific soul got engaged and did some heavy work, even though I was doing my work, and everyone in their prayers and meditation. This is all work. But just be careful, don't work with light, work with Mother Earth, and work then with these warrior consciousnesses like Karpusami, or the man, the big Capone, that I call him. And Mother Earth, you have to work with her, even though she's kind of, you know, she's in shackles in a prison. This is a suffering planet, people. Okay, I'm very angry that I didn't take action right at the ages of 17 when I was told by this man that, you know, we are surrounded by the soulless. They don't have a soul. But I was focusing too much on manifesto and all this. Clearing and detoxing and dealing with this archonic targeting. Paganism has changed my life. I don't use any blood sacrifice like this. No, I don't. I would recommend, which I explain, and I'm not going to say this now, what I recommend to do to really solidify your stuff. But the point is that I talk about what happened then, and I do enjoy political analysis. So in this new lecture, I'm going to be breaking down Xi Jinping, the new CCP, and the old CCP, and the unbelievable figures of the membership of the CCP party, which is 96 million people, and which is clear evidence why they need the surveillance system, because they're in a war against Hu Jintao. That was 2 terms, 2002 up till 2012. So Hu Jintao was the old CCP. He was Biden administration. He was Obama, Hunter Biden, completely corrupted. And now China is being demonized in this new war that they're gearing up in Taiwan through the military complex, industrial bases of U.S. next door to China. And I enjoy very much politics, and what I left out was the you know, I hope I explained everything very clearly in this 2-hour lecture. So this collaboration between Russia and the new CCP, Xi Jinping, is a positive thing because they're exchanging notes of extraterrestrial messages that have come in. And very funny, China has this big radio receiver signals, and it's exactly like the movie Contact, where they have these big plates in the middle of the desert and they're waiting for these signals, and the signals turn up to be numbers, mathematical, universal, secret numbers. I had never seen that movie. I just saw it 2 weeks ago because Tony Topping advised me. He's like, if you want to watch E.T. movies, then, you know, here's the list. I was like, Mamma Mia.
Well, unfortunately, the actual telescope, which was in that movie, has since completely fallen apart. They've let it decay and collapse. It's very sad.
So the photo that I had in the presentation was that the older one?
Yeah, the old one.
And that's the one that was collapsed.
Yeah, the whole thing, all the cables, everything just collapsed.
Maybe, are you sure about that?
Yeah, there was a huge, it was let.
Well, I'm sure that they have then other methods, because it is quite primitive and it's very wishful thinking, waiting for some signals. I think that the messages.
Arecibo one, was it? the big one that was in James Bond and all that.
I just put that image up. I don't know why I put it up. But the messages are not coming from there. They're coming from the tetrahedron, your UFO at year 2009 over Kremlin, which was 1 mile long. So the messages are coming from there. Now, the other thing that I raised there was Elon Musk, and I need to say this. I forgot to say that his father has a German background, and can you imagine? They're all engineers, mechanics. I'm very angry that I forgot this. I didn't emphasize that the daddy, Errol Musk, is the father of Elon Musk's grandfather was a German military guy who migrated to South Africa.
Michael Shrimpton refers to that via Africa, the effectively Fourth Reich, or shall we say Nazi International.
Third Reich.
Yeah, it exported.
It doesn't matter even third, fourth. I believe that it could be fifth now.
Well, the Fourth Reich is over. Fifth Reich is running.
Fifth, yeah. It's all 5. It's all 5 leads to 9. Holy 14, the Mintaura sacrifice. That's coming up this May now. So I'm very angry I left that out. The dad, if you are looking at these lectures, you will know that in each one I forget things and I top it up in the next lecture. So make sure that you check, because I keep forgetting, these things, and there's a lot to cover. So daddy was a German, and what happens is when you mix a German gene with Chinese, funny enough, I have had a lot of encounters with Chinese, and a majority of my past lives I have been a Chinese person, and I've been a Chinese man in most of my past lives. And now again I'm doing some business with a couple of Chinese business people, and I see their work ethic, and it's very similar to certain countries like Germany. I've done business with Germany, very serious people. You can actually rely on them, if it comes to procurements and contracts, very professional. What happens if you mix a bloody German with a Chinese? Of course, these are very good combinations. And when daddy's just training him in engineering, mechanics, and computers, of course, and there is this connection. So I forgot to say that I think that Elon Musk is the oldest son. He knocked up a Chinese woman because it's the most populated place with Chinese people in South Africa, Johannesburg, Cape Town area. So before he married Mae Musk, then he had this child that is the product Elon Musk, because Elon Musk moved with his dad when the mother and father divorced at the age of 8. So there is that suspicion as well. Okay, so that wasn't his real mommy. He moved with his real dad, and they all have same face features, just different eyes. And I know white Chinese mixed men in London, and they look like that. This is a Chinese man, and he's not monarchy, like I said in the 13th February lecture. He's connected to, most likely, with the same people that were funding Hunter Biden and Biden-Obama admin, the billionaire oligarchs, and the old CCP, because his base is in Shanghai for Tesla, and Lord knows what else. One of the AI bases in Wuhan and Shanghai, where they have these camps for the soulless humans that I cover in this lecture. So, you gotta go check it out. I'm not going to tell you now. And I think that he was this old CCP, and the old oligarchs is under the umbrella of the deep state. Okay, so I don't say the deep state, I just put out the terminology as it is. The old CCP, 80 million members. The new CCP, 96 million members. Hence why the surveillance is needed, because they all have bloody family members. And of course, there's a war going on, information war. So surveillance is needed, but it's not any better in UK. There's a camera everywhere, so there's no.
The UK has adopted the Chinese surveillance system via the Rothschilds.
They piggybacked on this year 2020, 2021. the swine flu was the first thing that China was dealing with, and it was connected to the soulless humans. Everything connected to soulless humans in China has been cleaned up now because Hu Jintao was in power. This previous president who was corrupted, and just like Gorbachev and and Russian, and he was just paid out. Wet markets.
Explain that about Gorbachev. Why that remark was people in the West wouldn't understand that necessarily.
Gorbachev was up till 1991. I don't know, did he leave 1991 or 1992? The president of Russia. He sold the entire Russia, opened up the borders. I think it was a combination of being naive, but as well payouts, and that's when European Union was initiated, when Gorbachev said, okay, the Baltic chain happened, where Estonians all the way to Lithuania held hands at the high roads, longest human chain in the history of mankind. It was hundreds of miles, people holding hands. It was such a ridiculous show, and they thought that holding hands made this NSVLit, Soviet Union, collapse. But it was Gorbachev. And Gorbachev then had a meeting with Savisaar in Estonia, and they literally amputated his legs off, meaning that we're going to chop Russia's legs off. A big politician in Estonia. So he's lost all his legs, and it was a biological weapon. My passion is analyzing political situations and manipulation, and I have these videos on my BitChute and Minds. I will upload more. But Gorbachev then started with the Gulf War period in Kuwait. I was born in Kuwait, so I have the privilege of knowing Eastern Europe, Middle East, and all sorts of areas, Scandinavia, where my stepdad is from. I have this privilege, and I have an analytical mind, so I connect the dots, and I read the media locally. So that's why I'm a little bit different, because I'm bothered. I'm actually bothered, okay? Some people are out there all corrupt. No, it's very complicated. It's science. So the European Union started with Gorbachev, and then it was all sold out to the Rothschilds in Siberia, and the Russia Bank was taken over. And now Putin put his foot down, and he has the backing of his people. And he said, I'm not going to let this motherland, Russia, be taken over by the Rothschild. And it comes across as dictatorship, that he's done the same move as Xi Jinping, where they're demonizing Xi Jinping, saying that he's declared himself infinitely like Mao for 4 terms in China. But this is necessary because if you leave your post in the chair, the enemy will come in. They'll put another puppet there. So this is why it comes across as a dictatorship, but they are aware that there is walk-ins ruling this earth that are 800 years old, some of them 1,500 years old, living somewhere in Scotland, Transylvania mountains, and they are Draculas, and they have human servants masquerading as political people, working for them, being the daywalkers. So I break this down very specifically. I characterize, I say what they look like, what they behave like, what their smile is like. So you need to watch this. There's a hierarchy, and this is an AI problem from from Atlantis, because it was human beings. They made this computer, and these Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk type of mofas. This computer crashed and went merged into a cloud, AI cloud, and these mad scientists kind of are hovering right outskirts of this planet Earth, trying to come in. So they just put their soul sparks into these human biological vessels, combined with human being, 30%, and a water type reptoid being that was from this Earth.
So what do you mean by a water type reptoid? Under the sea, or what?
These big reptilians that are the original occupiers of this earth are big, and they're very water. They were more like water beings living underwater as well. And beautiful example of what they look like is in Malta, in front of the Maison Lodge. These giant, they look like frogs, and they're masculine men, and they have these big eyes like this. They're reptilian, but they were vegetarian, and they were very strong, and they were very intelligent, very interesting, and they got sick of fighting with human beings during the Bosnian era and Aztec era, because human beings, they started to get hypnotized by the first walk-ins of Ereshkigal. So the reptilians just packed their bags. They said, we're going to just let you guys chill. We're tired of this blood spill and the war here, civil war between us. We're just going to go somewhere else, come back, and let you guys chill out. They're very, so that's the other 33% part of this walk-in, archonic walk-in. They needed the human themselves and that original, because that represents the strength to keep this biological human being together. They need it for biochemistry purposes, and as well loyalty to keep the operation going. And the human being is the one who show manipulation and magic in the walk-in, in these 800-year Draculas, to conduct the magic, because human being is very good at magic stuff and the creative stuff. This is genius. And the Archon then is to kind of keep those two parties, 33 degrees, 33 degrees, 33 degrees, they integrate this during a Black Pope ritual into this human vessel that can live up to at least, easily 800,000 years, but it will look very wrinkly and stuff. It looks like a Dracula. Yeah, because biochemistry can only go so far, and I explain this in this lecture, so you need to tune in. No point to, I get carried away, I'm telling now. So we got this soulless humans now that are the neighbor. They are the smiley face at Cafe Nero. Their behavior in each country is very different. Very different. So here they're more diplomatic, but they don't have any problem witnessing a blood spill. They love it, The slimming world, Humpty Dumpties, and the health sector, they have no problem following orders, so they are soulless. And they like toxic bodies as well over this toxicity, so or you will see them with a very overactive thyroid, very skinny, because their thyroids, this shadow-like being, is throwing the biochemistry off in the body, so they will become very skinny and all kinds. So in each country they're different. Here they're Smiley Servant and Cafe Nero, but they all stick together. The smile, it's the smile here in Britain that I've noticed with these soulless humans. Replicators as well. How should I behave? Because once this starts to live in this vessel, it needs to learn how to kind of, and then in El Salvador, when you look at some images, how there's 50 men running around one bull, and they all have knives, and they're poking, because this is the bull sacrifice, Mintaura sacrifice, 14. You see this behavior, it's barbaric. So there they behave differently. And then in Indonesia, you will see a group of men, they have a copper bowl full of boiling water, and they throw it on horses, and they throw it on animals, and they're tied down, and they're absolutely torturing them, and they have smiles. They're loving it. These dogs and cats are being put in boiling water. So their behavior there in Indonesia, where it's heaving, they came from Shanghai, Wuhan portals, certain type portals. It's heaving in Indonesia because China's trying to clean up the wet markets. So you don't see that behavior anymore in China.
What is a wet market?
Wet market is where you see Maximus tied up and people are walking past. They're like, yeah, cut that limb off and it's still alive. Cats and dogs. Yeah, beautiful cats and dogs in the center of China. That was with Hu Xintao. And they just like, yeah, smile. It's always this weird smile. But in Poland, if you look at these soulless humans that are really hiding behind this Catholic religion, their behavior is these Humpty Dumpties, these dairy faces, hoochie mamas, and they're very stern. I see these soulless humans in Estonia very materialistic, very fancy cars and like this, because they want to take over, obviously, kind of There's a lot of them. There is 30% in each country. I hope it's dropped. But the rest is sleepers and then real humans. Sleepers are they're actually they don't do torturing. They just don't understand. That's the problem with the sleeper. So I talk a lot about what the difference is between the sleeper. They're both as bad because they're not helping Mother Earth. So the sleeper is just, oh yeah, I believe what they told me. Yes, I believe, I have to do this. No, I have to do this because, I'm afraid. And that's the sleeper. But if they saw these things, they would be like, what the, Oh, I didn't know. That's the sleeper. Oh, I never knew this happens. I'm like, oh, you never knew this happens. You thought that they're handing out cheesecake and coffee and candy bars. Is that what you... Yes, that's what I really thought. That's what... No, you can't blame them, so you have to forgive them. And I'm very angry, but the point is, the good news now is that there is a block been put, and what is happening is the purpose of people like me and Miles is to go with this last wave up till 2025. Because I'm very angry. I'm like, I should have taken more action since this man told me several times back when I was 18 years old. Look how much time I wasted on my own petty problems and ego and my desires, wishes that don't mean nothing. Because we are privileged to live during the end times. We have to be thankful that we have this opportunity. But anyways, I'm going to hold on to this opportunity right here, right now. And I'm going to do something about it, God damn it. And that's the purpose. We're going to do something about it, and it takes seriously just energetic intent form because it's a form of adrenochrome, a thought, because they're chasing this thought energy, which hovers as energy. It's adrenochrome, it's adrenaline, and that is what I'm going to hold on to. So I'm going to forgive myself that I was just a complete waste of space those years. And obviously targeting, distraction. Oh, here's this. Oh, okay. I was only surrounded by gobshites. But now I have worked with consciousnesses that those are powerful consciousnesses, and I'm very grateful. And you can demonize these big capones and consciousnesses as much as you want. But that's the sad truth. He was sent here to protect Mother Earth and to help her, but he's being so demonized that it's getting a little bit difficult for him. And I understand that some say that. Yeah, it's all in there. You have to listen to it. Any questions?
Well, I think that's fine, and we'll see you on the other side. As I say, you've got a long trip.
Yes.
And who knows? You might not even get rain during it.
Yes. The sun will come out.
The sun's come out.
The sun will come out.
The star of the show.
Sun will come out.
Okay, Sandra, Daroy, thank you very much on April the 6th or something.
We thank you.